little kitten. We're doing some voodoo today. We are pretending that you have spent the night at Grandma's house while we deal with these things. Now, I'm pretty sure that to anybody watching in real time, this kind of thing must seem just crazy, but there's more to it than that. This represents the comfort I couldn't give, but I can still give it. Anyway, we're going to tell more stories about Grandpa and me, how we met, what our life was like. Gotta confess, I don't remember too many stories about a lot. Well, it wasn't all pretty. It wasn't a lot pretty. It was pretty enough. First thing is you get to decide what incense we're going to use. And I have so many choices. I've got all kinds of choices. So, I can't even begin. You think that's all? That ain't all. Look. Oh, that fish got them all. Choicey, huh? Yes. I have them all. I think we'll do rose today. Yeah. This is rose. I believe it's rose. Oh, yeah. So we're going to have some happy scents. We're going to tell some happy stories. Might be the only... So, when your grandfather and I got married, you see, we knew each other for 4 months, and we said, I love you forever. And I was in my school, my Army school, before he was in the Army school. So that means that I would be finished before he was, and we wouldn't be together anymore. We would go each off into our Army thing, wherever the Army sent us. Now, he was National Guard, so he was going to go back home to West Virginia, Ohio, and that area. That's where he was going to go when he was done. And I was just going to go off wherever they sent me, which turned out to be Alaska. And, So, I wanted to get more time with him, so I made sure I brought all my grades up, and I did real good. I think he helped me. Kept myself up, and so I qualified for an extra course that would have extended my training for 2 more weeks. So it was recovery, so I can go out there. If a truck had tipped over, I was trained how to pull it up and load it up and bring it back to the where we fix it. Something field recovery. I can't even remember. That's why I say Grandma's memory is pretty bad. And a lot of memories have been smoked away, and a lot of memories have been hidden in the vault of traumas we don't remember. So, well, I stayed on 2 extra weeks for us to continue to have good times, and we knew we were going to get married. We proposed. He proposed. We went and bought broke a check. We broke one of his paychecks to get us 2 rings. I think we spent $90 in total. And then we went right to the movie theater. And while in the movie theater, I was nervous and fidgety about with my ring, and I put it on the wrong hand and the wrong finger. Well, I don't know if it was the wrong finger, but I sure know it was. I put it on the wrong hand. And I couldn't get it off because I have such knobby knuckles, and so I couldn't get the ring off. And we had, right after the movie theater, we had to go back to the jewelry shop and have them cut the ring off my finger. Ew, was that an omen? And well, anyway, we fixed the situation, and it turns out that I can't have silver. He didn't really want gold. He wanted silver. And well, I couldn't have silver because I turned silver into clay. Rust silver. So I'm no good for that. But so we got white gold. Couldn't afford no platinum. So we got some white gold. And eventually, on the next paycheck or so, we bought the wedding ring that I have. And it was white gold, and it had itty bitty little teeny tiny little flecks, 4 or 5 little diamond flecks in it. I thought it was the most beautiful ring. It was very simple, very elegant, and I love it, and I still have it. That ring is enshrined in a photograph frame. The photograph frame is silver, and the frame is supposed to be for a wedding picture. And it says happily ever after. And instead of a picture, I have our divorce papers. And the 2 pretty rings that were part of the picture frame design, well, that ring on that design looks like my real wedding ring, so I thought that was awesome. So inside the little design of the rings for wedding rings, I put his ring and my ring inside of them. Happily ever after. Well, he hasn't been too happy. I've been getting happy, but I haven't been too filled with connection to others, so we each have our own karmas. Anywho, what was I talking about? Do you want some coffee? I got plenty. So we're pretending that you spent the night here, and you're going to stay with Grandma a couple days in our imagination. While Grandma, Grandpa, and everybody is adjusting to the change that's coming. So on a psychic or spiritual or personal or lovely level, I am holding vigil for you, even though you're so young you could never even understand. But this thing is happening in your lifetime, in your time, right now. And so I want to be there. And in a way, this is like being there. It kind of is. It really is. You see, you will never remember what happened during this time, and through everything else in your life that happens, you're not going to remember all the details, all the time that actually went into the things. There we are. I don't know I was going to say. Your grandma's crazy sometimes. That's what I want. Alright, so anyway, we got marriage counseling. And we decided that we weren't going to get married before I left. You see, I kind of a control freak. I don't know. I didn't want him to feel obligated. I wanted him to have time to reflect before he came up to Alaska to marry me. Heck, I was the first person he ever cuddled with. He was not the first person I ever cuddled with. So I said, go find out. Go hug others. Just for a minute. Because, maybe I'm not who you want to cuddle with. But he didn't. He didn't cuddle with anybody. But we did decide not to get married before. So that's what we did. I didn't even tell my mom and dad. When he called the house to talk to me, he called up and used a fake name. And what is the logic? What is the logic of a fake name? As if my parents would know one way or the other if it was Bob calling me or if it was Granddaddy calling me. But we were kids. And it was so frightened that my mom and my stepfather would talk me out of marriage. I was so, like, I knew what was right, and I couldn't even describe how it wasn't a fantasy, but maybe it was. I don't know. He was the one that I wanted, and he wanted me. So on my end, I'm just acting like I'm not engaged. I'm not really married. We just haven't done the marriage part yet. And so they didn't know. And then I went off to Alaska. And he finished his training. And he went back home to Ohio and started his dealings to get his stuff transferred to Alaska from the National Guard. And he tells me, well, first he wanted to ride his motorcycle up from Ohio to Alaska. I was terrified. Those roads are dangerous. Oh man, though, I regret not letting. You see, I act like it's a matriarchy, but it isn't. I'm just saying I regret not letting him do that. I was young and had no idea what kind of adventures men like. I just wanted to keep him safe. I just couldn't stand worrying about him taking such a road trip. Oh, but for him it would have been the right thing. So I regret taking it. Sorry. It is something I hadn't heard him for a while. He resented for a while. And your granddaddy holds on to things for so long. Now instead I didn't rob him of that. I didn't know I was robbing him. What I wanted assurance. I wanted a safety plan. I wanted to make sure that if it didn't work out, he could go. He could go. So, frankly, I insisted that he got a round-trip plane ticket. Open-ended round-trip plane ticket. So that he could go. You see, in Alaska, you can annul your marriage inside of 3 months, and it makes it legal like it never happened at all. And so I figured if he was gonna change, if he was gonna be mean, nasty, or if we just couldn't live together. He had a way to go back home. I wish I would have kept that plane ticket. It would have made my addition to our picture album, which we don't have anymore, because my picture albums all got burnt down in a fire. I'm not even 100% knowing whether the fire or not was intentional. I cannot tell where my sister is with me. I've developed my own paranoias in life. They're the kind of paranoia that you can't ask about, because if you ask about what you're paranoid about, well, then that just gives away that if they were bad to you, that just gives away that you figured them out, so now they gotta get meaner, or now they're gonna be so hurt that you could have ever harbored such fears. One thing this family doesn't know anything about is baby steps with each other and acceptance and working together. That's one thing this family, nor the one I came from, we don't know nothing about that kind of thing. Get yourself help. Get perfect. Why aren't you perfect yet? Why aren't you? Why aren't you doing what you need to do? Why don't you do that? Don't you love us? God damn it. Don't ever put my kid in front of my face as the poster child for why I should not. Haven't we learned by now that kind of tactic doesn't work? What we need is togetherness and a plan that actually includes even those things we think are ridiculous. I probably could have helped clean. I probably could have been more into cleaning, cooking, doing. If my family made it something we did together, or if my family started it, if my family started talking about it, then I could be more like ideas for what to eat, or how would we go about doing that. Hell's bells, if my giant family would have taken the initiative, I would have joined, because I like togetherness. I just never could get it started. Stories about your grandfather. Christ almighty. Did you sleep good? Round trip ticket so that he could leave. He didn't leave. We had to get a ride to the Justice of Peace. We went to the judge. We didn't go to a priest. And we got there. They told us we needed a witness. We didn't have any family or friends. No. Person we could have used, I think one of them came, but the other person couldn't. And as we were driving around, happened to be somebody hitchhiking, looking for a ride to work. We said, "Hey, you got a minute to witness our wedding?" She said yes. She came in, she signed, we got married, and we drove her to work. She come back out a couple seconds. Hold on. She said she came up and she gave me a little locket with little gold flecks in it, a little necklace. Your grandpa and I had quite a lot of little miracles in our life. Quite a lot of good fortune. Though we tend to focus on the bad, remember what hurts. It's always larger than what was nice. Sometimes we make what was nice much larger to cover up what hurts so bad. So it's all give and take. It's all living. It's all living, little kid. Okay, what happened next? in our life. The Army gave us a big house with 3 bedrooms in it, and one room I turned into a meditation place, and the other room he turned into D&D headquarters. And we had our Army buddies. He had his Army buddies. I didn't have any buddies. I didn't make any buddies among my crew. I guess I'm just not a buddy person. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Well, it was hard to make buddies with my crew because before Timmy came up to Alaska, I would say things that he knew, that he taught me while he was talking about mechanic things. And I would say something, and they would ridicule me and say that thing isn't a thing. There's no such thing as a piston hammer, they said to me. But there is. And it was just these little things they did to try to cut away at my faith in my husband. Well, the same kind of tricks my parents would have played. Only I would have believed my parents better. And he came up there. What was I saying? Oh, well, like I said, he made his friends. I made a friend, Debbie. They didn't like Debbie too much. Of course, at some point in me and Debbie's, she was over there all the time, staying over. They made their peace at some point. Whatever it was. I knew that I was exploring mystical things. I was exploring psychic development, etc. Now, my friend Debbie has changed in her life. She did not stay as much of an alchemist as she was then. So, hope she's alright. Jesus, I don't know what else to talk about right now. I wanted to get through that. We have one big fight, and I don't even understand truly what the nature of it was. But that was, if that didn't change or get fixed, that was within the 3-month window, and I would have fixed that, what he did. We'd been wrestling and play acting, wrestling gaming, and I don't know what happened, but something offended me, and I ran into the bedroom and closed the door and locked the door. I think I wasn't so offended as much as I was joking. I think it was joking. I don't know what it was. I wasn't frightened of him, because the way we solved the problem wasn't one of fear or anger or abuse. It was just, he got triggered when he couldn't open the door. And when he had tried to open the door, because it was a chain lock in a bedroom. Can you imagine a chain lock in a bedroom? And when he had tried to open the door, he didn't know it was locked, therefore he opened the door harder than he should have opened it, and the chain link got crooked in there. And I'm like, sorry. Oh, wait. But he was already in a panic now. Why can't he get in the room? Or let me just get the door open. I don't know how his brain misfired. But he decided that trying to ram the door open and mess the door frame up a bit was the right answer. And like, no, stop, go back, get me a butter knife, and I can get it unhooked. That was what happened. And I did, because the door got unhooked. Was really shaken up by that behavior, though. Terribly so. But for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure we talked about it. I'm pretty sure we worked it out. I'm pretty sure we sought the advice and counsel from those of us that were around us. Whatever. I'm sure we did, because we're still here, aren't we? And no such other action happened like that. And if actions like that even tried to happen, they were rare. They increased, though. There's a particular action in particular that has scarred our family. We're not going to get into that one right now. We're talking about love. The bond of love that always was there. I've seen bad times, hurtful times, confused times, but I've also seen him try to work harder at helping himself. And you know what he does for you? His arm got hurt, his shoulder was hurting him real bad. You had just turned 1. And he would get you out of the crib, but he couldn't lift you properly, so he instructed you to hold on, or to help him help you up out of the crib or around. And you understood the assignment. You understood exactly how to go about without injuring your granddad. And your granddad held you, talked to you a lot. Oh, he held you all the time. While I was watching TV, while I was playing a game. He held you, talked to you while he was cooking a meal and cleaning up a dish. Now, I don't know if he was talking to you about cooking and cleaning, but you're going to find that in your mother's life, and my life, so much dramatic trauma is wrapped around doing dishes and laundry, housework. My God, the hang-ups in this family over housework. Quite traumatic. I don't know if I can fix that. That's still troubles. I haven't eaten properly in 4 days because I refused to wash the 2 pans in my sink. Why? I don't have enough energy. It's a vicious circle. Oh, don't worry. I eat sandwiches. And I got stuff. I got ice cream. Shit. Any rate. Besides, look at my kitchen. I haven't cooked a proper meal in 5 years. So he got help for that situation. Also, by and by, he went from National Guard to active duty. But that's kind of jumping a little ahead in my story. He also did my uniforms for me. I could do them, but he did them before I got to them. No, he'd starch them. He'd do them up, I think. Well, I should like to think he was really proud of me and wanted me to look good. I don't want it to be that I was lazy, didn't want to do it, and didn't care how I looked to my peers. I'd like to think it was definitely so that there wouldn't have been anything to cause us any trouble, that we were meeting the standard. Maybe it was just a matter of that. Our big house with the 2 extra bedrooms had a full basement also. And when we were finished with our Christmas tree that year, we just picked it up, moved it down to the basement. We kept all the lights on, kept all the ornaments on it. We also made friends with another family, and they had 6 kids. They had so many kids that what they had for our house was 2 of our houses with the 3 bedrooms. They just took out the wall between the 2 houses, and they had themselves 2 kitchens, 2 houses, 4 bathrooms. It was a maze. He was a military policeman, and your grandpa would hang out with the military policeman, and he hung out with his D&D friend John. I don't know who was the policeman now, but somebody was in the motor pool, and somebody was a medical person. I don't remember his name either. Anyhow, the motor pool person decided to go mud bogging illegally in the back roads of the base, and he ended up getting his vehicle disabled, bottomed out, couldn't go. Told my husband and to me and the military policeman. Well, they went stuck out in the middle of the night. They rescued that vehicle, and they returned it, and they covered the butt, baby. They covered the butt. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody got discovered. Oh, forgot to tell you about the training. See, that's one beautiful thing. Let's go back in time before we were married. He went off to some weekend field training of some kind, and on the night he came back from field training, he snuck into my barracks room. Oh, I knew he was going to. We kind of made this a plan, but he snuck into my barracks room and cuddled, and then he snuck out of my barracks room. It was so Romeo and Juliet. It was Rambo style Romeo and Juliet. What was I tell? Yes, we rubbed, tiptoed through the tulips and everything. Alright, forward. Just to say that things didn't always start out a struggle, and it takes time for things to build in a life. And our experiences together, we have earned the things, we've earned our karma. When you find somebody to marry, you should find somebody that you could start at the same place. And all the problems you gotta make, you make from each other. Not carry the problem here, not carry the problem here. And then try to solve each other's problems. And then as well try to solve your own. That's too much. That's way too much. That means that neither one of you are ready. She or he must have a stable situation, a stable mentality. They can have problems in their life, but their problems must be solved, handled, situated. You can't come together and be able to handle all the new problems if you haven't worked on what you have as people individually. I know, such great advice, but nobody pays attention and nobody ever will. Today's theme song, Starry, Starry Night, Vincent by Don McLean. And then the downfall of our marriage, one of the downfalls was the separation. We were constantly separated. Training, deployment. Breakup. Hardship. I mean, I left Germany with your mother because we had several hardships and several people being nosy and picky and pokey and causing our family trouble. Was it because I had postpartum? Was it because I don't know what the hell it was because? I know I was trying, and I had no one to help me be. I thought I was doing something nice when I had a cookbook. I wanted to try the new recipes because I'm a little homemaker mommy now. And people thought, why am I buying this and that when I need to focus on that and that? Why the hell are they focusing on my this and that? Literally. Somebody was following me in the grocery store, and I was buying cooking sherry because that's what the recipe book called for. My only recipe book, my first recipe book, one given to me by a group of church ladies, which one of them were the ones following me. Literally, how would I even know that that was supposed to be a sin? How would I even know that that's supposed to be something I'm not allowed to do because I'm supposed to buy binkies? And your mother had an entire little shelf of her own with her little breakfast items, I had baby food, Bubba. I used to love being a little mommy cook and being a mommy cook. I like that shit. I used to like mixing oatmeal with a little bit of fruit from the baby food and putting it into her cup, her eaty food sippy cup. In Germany, they had sippy cups with bigger holes in it that wasn't for, it was for cereals and baby foods. And a plunger, and I remembered it. Your grandpa reminded me of it, but then I really, really remembered it. Anyway, and your mom used to like to watch the washing machine. Anyway. I'm trying to tell the story in chronological order. Your dad and I used to like to make displays. Your dad, your granddad. And we made a castle, a 3D puzzle of the castle of Neuschwanstein, which we got to go see, but we'd fallen in love with the castle before we ever went to Germany, and we put the castle together, and we had all kinds of knickknacks and lookity things, and a lot of glasses too, little wine glasses and pretty cutlery, or not cutlery, but whatever, table stuff. So I had all of the wine glasses set up, and I put the puzzle up on top of it, and I decorated the table with whatever our knick-knackety stuff was. Made a whole little scene of it. And underneath the table, I was storing our books, because I didn't have a home for those yet, so I kept them under the table, out of the way, so I could keep my pretty house. And one day, while I'm very pregnant, I'm under the table, moving books, when the water broke. I'm about to have a baby. That was your mom. I don't know what your mom was doing when she went into labor with you. Just like I didn't tell my mother that I was married until December, and I got married in July. I didn't know you were coming. I'm sorry that she was afraid to tell me. The only thing I ever wished for her was to be ready and able. And no. Then her life got traumatic. And it made it turn out so that she wasn't able to get a house with a man and do it right. And it's a source of great pain, great depression. Your mommy loves you. She most certainly does love you, and she wants to do right by you. I hope that you are strong, capable, wise, and beautiful. She does love you. She loves you. Just like me, it's hard to deal with life. It's hard to deal with feelings. It's hard to deal with confusion and uncertainty. And even you aren't going to know what to do with it. So we should always try to understand the flaws of others. Because nobody's better. This has been another hour of time. Didn't really talk about much. But that's the point. But do I have any stories about you yet? Oh yeah, you and me faced off. We had a battle of wills, you and I. You were demanding, little girl. Very demanding. No, you were 6 months. You were 6 months old. I was visiting and trying to feed you. And you know how long it's been since I fed a baby. I didn't know that you're like, shovel it in, shovel it. You wanted your food. So, I mean, shoot, I'm like, no, this is unreasonable. Get patient with me. Anywho, at some point you looked at me and you had demand in your eyes, but it wasn't demand. It was conscious. You were absolutely conscious about do it now. And I'm like, I'm like, no. We're not having a trauma here. I read you a book that year, or that time. That's on the that's on the channel. And you are so fun, Lynn. You're so fun. I absolutely adore how interested you were in the book. In some parts of the video, it looks like you're tracing your finger like you're reading. Anna, wouldn't that be awesome? Come to find out that you're the 120,000 IQ. That you've been reading since you was 2. Wouldn't that be something? The question is, you gonna watch this whole thing till you get to a story about you? Okay, I admit defeat. I'm boring now. Oh wait, everyone's gonna find something else to do. If I think of more stories to tell, I'll come and tell them. But stories from here on out are gonna start getting negative. When even I don't want to admit to how much I might have to confess to. Or how my confessions should go. But I believe in honesty, and I believe in integrity. And I believe in learning from your mistakes. I believe in you. I believe in my son. I believe in my daughter. I believe in my husband. I believe in my sister. Anyway. God, I have nothing more to say. But I don't want to leave. Okay, let's take a minute. Is there anything else? Yeah, there is. If this is a spiritual spell of being with you during your hard time, maybe I shouldn't fill it all with my yapping. I'm just going to sit with you until the hour's over. And we're going to listen to the
off by now.